It's a pleasure to be here. I have there's several former students here. None of them died during the class, so it was a good thing. I'm sure most of you have at least a year or two of calculus and a little linear algebra, and we'll be doing fine. Remember the movie The Beautiful Mind? Well, we're going to prove the Nash equilibrium again. We've got lots of board. We can solve all the simultaneous equations. You're here because you really want to learn some economics. You really want to figure out how you can use it to change some of your students' lives, and I think nothing could be more honorable than all of that. I'll tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. We are going to have a lot of interaction. This is for sure adult education. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. There are many answers to economic questions depending on the assumptions you make and how you go. And one thing that's beautiful about economics is it's a logical construct that helps you learn how to think. It's the R-cold reasoning, and we have people that have worked it into their classrooms, and we're going to do it here. The one thing I would like you to do, and I know you're going to have packed days, but I will guarantee you that whatever I put on the overhead these next 3 days will be in the paper that night. For nothing else, I'm going to prove to you that economics is pervasive, that you know it. I'm not going to teach you things you don't already know, but I'm going to give you a way to share it with other people. What do you think? Why do we have a subject called economics? Pardon? Money. Money. Okay, money. And when you say money, why would economics deal with money? What does it want to teach you to do with money? Choices. Very good, Annie. We're done. We're already half an hour ahead. 2-hour break at lunch. We're set. Here's the definition. Simple. Economics is the study of the allocation. How do we sort out of scarce resources among competing uses? There's all kinds of things you could do with your time. There's all kinds of things we could do with glass to make lenses. There's all kinds of things we could do with gasoline, all kinds of things. So somebody has to say, how do you structure the choice? So a simple definition really is the science of making intelligent choices. I tease my large classes that when in doubt, say, it must be something to do with cost and benefits. And so we go along and they talk about what economics is. Now the key thing here is that the only reason we have a study of economics is because of that word I put in there, scarcity. There just plain is not enough to go around. Not enough money, not enough time. And so as a result of that, we have to make a choice. How should I use my time? You're here. Well, maybe you could have been at school, maybe you could have been going to a movie or whatever it might be. So we want our students, I think one of the things we find when we deal with students is that they like to always think of the benefits, and they hardly ever structure the costs very well. And what we want to continually drive into their minds is that these are cost-benefit choices and they have implications. Now, I'll ask you another question. I happen to be in the Eller College of Business, is where my department is. Is economics a business subject or a social science? Actually, officially, it's a social science. We're housed in businesses. But what I'm going to prove to you is, yes, we deal with money, yes, we have all kinds, but what we are trying to do, the reason I say we're a social science is we're trying to predict human behavior, just like psychologists, just like sociologists, just like anthropologists. We're trying to predict, and this is where your students come in, how people will change their behavior presented with different incentives. There's incentives, positive, punitive, negative. How does this change their choices? So it is, as we go through this, it is a social science. We're going to look at the law of demand. Why do people buy things? Well, yes, as Andy said, we have money involved. But what it is, it's the psyche of the person making a choice on, should I get the new iPod? Should I get a television? Should I get a car? And they're calculating these things. It's psychological. It's subjective. The reason I mentioned essay exams is because it is subjective. I want them to think and not try to find questions. By the way, just out of an experiment, I had to do it and I disliked it so. I had to give 1 page of multiple choice to my 750 students. And we were part of the university standards. Can your students pass a test? And I don't teach that way, you'll see, and I can tell you, and I have good students, the scores on the page, because we recorded it, the scores on the multiple choice page versus the scores where I gave them word problems and they were able to think it through and tell me what they were doing, we were 10% lower on multiple choice. And then I got a funny thing. I had students, I'm the Court of Appeals. What happens is if they take an exam, and I have graders helping me, and they don't like the grade they receive, they can write me a letter, Dear Professor Swanson. I get them to write out what they were thinking. And you're going to see it instantly, that you can think all kinds of different things about economics. And therefore, I hate tautology. I hate it just saying, here, regurgitate, throw this out. I want you to be able to think about it. So economics is a social science. We divide ourselves into 2 aspects of economics. Little and big, micro, small. And again, all kinds of definitions. Microeconomics, for the most part, is the study of individual choice making.